everybody who has spoken before you has
turn your mic on.
Done all of these wonderful and said some great and some amazing things, and I've got to use my notes because I just need them. I'm like all my Ebenezer people, please wave your hands. I'm so glad that they're here today. See, everywhere I go, I'm being undressed. All right, okay. I'm a child born in the 70s. And anybody who knows anything about the 70s, you know that people from the 70s marched to the beat of a different drum. And at 3 years old, my parents told me, they tell me so eloquently every time that they get an opportunity, that at 3 years old, I came to them and told them that I wanted to live on Sesame Street and I wanted to marry Miss Piggy. So rather than my parents having their 3-year-old child committed, they took me to church. And they placed me in every vacation Bible school, every church play. I was, at 5 and 6 and 7, 8, 9, 10, and 16, I was on drugs. I was drugged to church, drugged to Sunday school, just everywhere I went I was drugged. And the thing that I need for you to understand is I was always different. And different sounds like a great thing, but different always sounds like your child is a little special. But my life changed forever, almost 30 years ago, when I went to see Hillside High School in Durham, North Carolina's production of Dreamgirls. And it was in that place where I realized and I found my people. Going to Florida A&M, and my classmates were Carmen and Kay Michelle and Anika Noni Rose and a whole bunch of other famous people whose names you may not know, but whose work you may know and understand. And the thing that you see, look at, I'm starting to like this a little bit. Touch me again. Let me know that I am real. Okay, so with being different. Thank you. With being different and finding my own set of people, I was called to this thing called public ministry. And I was a theater education major, and I was performing on stages, and I was doing all these other things. And I realized that I was called to this thing called public ministry, but what I was called to do, I did not fit in the round hole that they were trying to put me into. So my almost 90-year-old grandmother gave me a bit of advice that I want to give to each and every one of you. And she said, boy, God calls all kinds of people to do all kinds of things that we ain't even heard of yet. God sent me here today because I didn't come to talk to everybody. I came to talk to a couple of folk, maybe one, maybe two, maybe three. And you've been called to do something that is avant-garde, that is out of the box, something that has not been explained. And some of the things that you have been called for today, that when you start telling people about it, you have to use similes and metaphors. Because the thing that God has given to you, it doesn't make sense. You have, brothers and sisters, this thing that we are called a God dream. Too big to be ignored, a God dream. So big that it wakes you up at 3 o'clock in the morning in a cold sweat saying, how am I going to make this thing come to pass? A God dream. And you do know that when God gives you a dream, that it's always bigger than yourself. Always bigger, always larger than what you have the resources for. It's just a little big. But something deep inside you keeps telling you that you can't ignore this thing, that you got to keep on going. Boys and girls, it is a God's dream. And this God dream, this commercial that God keeps showing you over and over again, is creating a commercial of future events to show you what it is that you have been called to do. Because even John Wesley said that if you light yourself on fire with passion, people will come from miles around to watch you burn. Believe it or not, the thing that I need for you to understand and the thing that I want for you to really get in your heart is that the God you serve is an artist. God created things by speaking. He said things and it happened. And you have been given that same power because you were created in God's image. But the thing that I want you to understand right now is that the arts are not this trendy thing that you do as a gimmick, but they are methods of engagement. There are some, believe it or not, there are some wrong reasons for you to engage and to create arts ministries. You can't do it because the church up the street has a dance team. You can't do it because St. Mark's United Methodist Church has an amazing drama ministry, and you think that would be cute for your church too. No. You can't do it because St. Philip's has an amazing visual arts ministry. There are bad reasons to do it. The reason why you do this thing called arts and ministry and arts and theology is because you just got to do it. The arts are not a gimmick, but they are a means of engagement. And the thing that I want you to understand is when you start to step out into this uncharted territory, what you have is not always enough. The thing that you need to understand is that God has called you to this thing, but you don't always have all of the parts and the pieces. But in order for you to move from this thing that is in your head into this thing that is in realization, you've got to be able to adjust your perceptions. Y'all remember Moses when God gave Moses this great and large task. And he immediately started giving God all of these reasons why he couldn't do it. And God said to him immediately, he said, Moses, what is that in your hand? Stick or staff? To most people, when they see you doing the thing that you do, to them it looks like a stick. But to you, it's your staff. And the thing that God wanted me to remind you of today is that thing that looks like a stick is so ordinary. It's so inferior to other folk. But when you pick it up, miracles can happen. God wanted me to let you know today that this is not the time to be looking at sticks. This is the time for you to be gathering sticks and turning them into staff. The thing that I wanted to remind you of today is that there's some things that you got to be mindful of as you create this artistic thing. We saw Sharon Milton with all of those kids, and it was amazing, and it was wonderful, and I know it because this is what I do for a living. I do that every day, coordinating children, getting permission slips, trying to make it happen. But guess what, y'all? It didn't happen that way overnight. There were a lot of dark days for Sharon. There are a lot of hard days for Sharon. So what do you do when you don't have the budget? What do you do when the people who have committed to the ministry don't stick to your deadlines? What do you do when there are 2 people in rehearsal, but 10 people come to show up on Sunday morning to perform? What do you do? What do you do with the folk with no talent who are so faithful, but the people with the talent who won't commit? What do you do? How do you keep at it? In this moment, I bring up my pastor's uncle, the retired pastor, the Reverend Dr. Alfonso Harrod, who said something, who gave my pastor some advice that stuck with me too. All God requires is that we are faithful. That's all God requires. The results do not belong to us. You will cast vision. You will empower people. You will hire some folk. You will you will create budgets and do all of that sort of thing. But the results are not your responsibility. All you have to do is be available. So therefore, as you leave this place to create this thing, the thing that I want to tell you right now is you got to. I'm getting ready to say a bad word in the church world, because the thing about it is in the church world, we know everything, but we don't like to commit to the things in the disciplines that make us great. You've got to commit to rehearsal. And I want some pastors, and I want some lay servants, and I want some group leaders to not feel bad telling people that if you don't rehearse, you don't perform. You cannot come and ask God to fill you full unless you have been emptied in rehearsal. You've got to take classes. You've got to take workshops. You've got to commit and to engage to learning more than what it is that you know. How many of you all have ever heard? I'm telling y'all, y'all know I ain't lying to y'all. Y'all know that song. Somebody say, "We fall down, but we get up." This is for real. Y'all sing the song. I'm going to show you what I saw one time. Say, "We fall down." For a saint is just a sinner who... That's a mess. That's a mess. Send them to school. Send them to closets. Don't you let people go up there and embarrass the house of God by not committing your team to practice and to workshops. I want you to commit to rehearsal. I want you to get the discipline. I want you to be bold. But the thing that I want you to understand is, as Mayor Brown Oliver says to me every Sunday, son, you got to remind people to tell the story. Because in Matthew 28:19, Jesus told the disciples, "Go ye therefore, teach all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost." So guess what, y'all? Some of you can sing the story. Some of you can act a story. Some of you can write poetry to tell the story. We've got all different ways to be able to create and to tell this gospel message. But know one thing and understand one thing, that someone's life is attached to the story that you tell. So brothers and sisters, as I leave this place and you all go to do what it is that you do, as I leave this place, as we leave here to go to our workshops, to engage and to create vibrant things in our communities that connect to people, I'm going to ask you one question. What will become of the dream God has given to you? Heaven only knows. Thank you.